Welcome. Once work moves into queues or background workers, correctness is no longer about whether the code runs once. It is about whether the workflow stays correct under delays, retries, and reordered events. Now that we have the premise, follow the loop. Trace the work, snapshot the state, cross the asynchronous boundary, and use evidence to make a design decision. Debugging is part of the design, not something you do after the fact.
So the observation strategy is part of the architecture, not just a debugging aid.
Exactly. If you cannot observe the relevant transition, you cannot defend the invariant later. Event tracing starts by making one workflow instance followable end-to-end. A correlation ID ties submission, delivery, and acknowledgement together so you can tell whether work stalled, failed, or was never confirmed.
Without that ID, how would I know whether the work disappeared or just got buried in the logs?
You usually would not know. That is why correlation turns noisy logs into evidence. Now that we can follow the workflow, record the object state before and after the async transition. The failure often lives in the change itself. The same method can look fine in a sequential test and still corrupt state under pressure.
So the important question is not just what method ran, but what state changed and whether that change was valid.
Exactly. The snapshots let you defend that claim instead of guessing. This is the point where time becomes part of the design. The caller hands work off now, but a worker may finish later on another thread or another machine, so the old synchronous mental model stops being reliable.
Is the real danger that we still reason as if the state is current when it may already be stale?
Yes, crossing that boundary means ordering and completion are no longer implicit. That hidden dependence on timing has a name: temporal coupling. The system appears correct only if events arrive in the expected order, and it fails when they are early, late, or out of order.
So the design is really assuming timing behavior that the system does not control.
Exactly, and once you name that assumption, you can decide whether to eliminate it or defend it. Correlation keeps the story together across components. A checkout service, queue, worker, and store all need to be tied to the same workflow instance, or even correct behavior becomes impossible to verify.
So correlation is not just for logging volume control. It is what lets us prove one order was processed consistently.
Right. It is the bridge between behavior and evidence. Now the failure becomes concrete. One worker starts the event, crashes before acknowledgement, and the queue redelivers the same work. The happy path looked fine, but delivery count and execution count were never the same thing.
So the bug is not just a crash. It is that the design assumed one delivery meant one execution?
Exactly. That hidden assumption is what the pressure exposes. The design response is to protect the invariant directly. Retried events must not inflate side effects or hide lost work. Idempotency keys, durable completion records, and retry-safe handlers make that possible.
What trade-off does that introduce?
More storage, more state management, and more careful handler logic. You gain safety, but you also buy complexity. This is why the evidence matters. Delivery IDs, entity IDs, state logs, and an audit trail have to line up so you can answer the hard question: what if the worker succeeds but the acknowledgement is lost?
And if I cannot reconstruct that sequence from the artifacts, then I do not really have a defense.
Correct. The integrity package should capture the claim, the evidence, and the remaining risk. So the next question is not which mechanism sounds best in isolation, but which one preserves the invariant with an acceptable cost. A simple baseline is easy to explain. Guarded transitions protect the state directly. Explicit coordination exposes dependencies, and idempotent design handles retries.
How should I choose among them for A3?
Start with the invariant, then choose the mechanism that matches the failure mode and the evidence you can defend.